Don't let your life pass you by.
I actually enlisted in 2002, and it was right after 9/11 happened is when I actually signed documents and enlisted. Um, I was going to County College Morris, and I felt that by that time my finances were not in place to continue going, and I felt a strong calling. I, in fact, happened to be a third-generation Marine, and at the time I had not even thought about enlisting. And when 9/11 happened, I just felt that I needed to go. I had to defend my country against that attack, because that shouldn't have happened. When I left active duty, I left as a corporal, and shortly after my discharge, I received rank of sergeant. I was in 2nd Marine Division, and my unit was 1st Battalion, 6th Marines, and I was in headquarters and service company. I was with an 1st Battalion, 6th Marines is an infantry unit, and my company is service. Basically, it's logistics. We do supply. We do my job. I was a weapons technician. I repaired, fixed weapons for the infantry. So basically, I went wherever the infantry went. I did whatever the infantry did, and then if one of their weapons broke, I was there to fix it for them. Afghanistan, you're probably looking at daily temperatures of around between 120, 125 degrees, usually is a typical day in the summer. Iraq, we're getting close to 140 on some days. It's very dry, very sandy and dusty. Back in the States, I was stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. That's in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And when I was deployed, I was stationed in Iraq. I was stationed in Fallujah, and in Afghanistan, I was stationed in Kandahar Air Base. When I was deployed to Afghanistan, I didn't know I was going to Afghanistan. I was deployed on what they call a float, and basically that's you team up with the Navy. The Marines team up with the Navy, and they deploy on a ship. And so I stepped on a ship, and a month later, crossed the Atlantic and found myself in Afghanistan. And I stayed there for several months and got back on ship and came back home. On the way back home, we started training for Iraq. And 5 months later, I was in Iraq. So I didn't really have a choice. Iraq is, it's very much like being here almost. It's, they have the technology we have. They have electricity. They have modern buildings. Most of the buildings are made out of concrete rather than the wood that we use here. They have paved roads, airports and whatnot, vehicles, cars. Afghanistan does not have any of that, really. It's mud huts, usually no electricity, and if a village is fortunate enough to have a vehicle, it has one vehicle for the entire village, and everyone has to share that. Where I was stationed in Fallujah, it was pretty much just rubble. There were a few standing buildings, but other than that, it was pretty much leveled. And my experience as a whole, it was a difficult experience. First joining the military, it was the first time I had ever left home for this period of time. And it wasn't just leaving, it wasn't like going off to college and I knew that I could be coming back home. It was going off to war and having the very real possibility and that I would not be coming home, ability that I would never see any of my family or friends again. And I had to come to terms with that. That was very, very difficult to come to terms with. My first deployment, I told you I was on ship, and while I was on ship, we were informed that we were going to Afghanistan and performing combat operations. At that time, that night that we were informed of our operations, I laid down in my bunk and I basically wrote a goodbye letter to all my friends and family, and I kept that on me at all times while I was in the country. So my perspective on life has very much changed since I graduated Randolph High School here and went to county college and joined the military. I feel that I've grown up a whole lot, maybe a lot more than I ever imagined.